Hey guys, Dr. Q here back on the Healthy Swag podcast, and I am rolling solo today, which is all good. This is my first time doing it, so bear with me. But I just really wanted to come on and have a conversation with the fellas because, guys, there is a concept that I have been rolling around in my head for some time now, and it just makes sense to me. There is a topic that is so important to all of us, and it is something that's top of mind and something that really affects how we relate to ourselves, relate to our partners, and that is sex. All right. Sex is so important and it's such a crucial part of our lives. It's a shame that we don't try to become more proficient at it. What do I mean by that? Think about anything that you're doing that you have trained to do. For me, I am a urologist. After undergrad, I did 4 years of medical school training, followed by 6 years of residency training, training how to be a urologist, training how to diagnose patients, training how to operate. So, my wife trains for marathons. You can't just get out there and run a marathon just because you want to. You have to build up stamina. You have to learn techniques. You have to train. You have to put in the work. I think about my boys who are both high level athletes, and the beauty of it, I don't even have to tell them to train and to practice and to watch film. They just do it because they want to get good. So that brings me to this question: why don't we train for sex? Okay, that sounds crazy, maybe, but it's true. Why don't we train our bodies to perform better, train our minds to be in line with our bodies and with our spirit? Why don't we practice? Okay, practice being good at sex. All right. So you may think, Doc, I practice, I get it in, but what kind of practices are you actually doing? Okay. Let's think about this. For your education for sex, where did it come from? For most of us, it probably came from your peers who didn't know much more than you did. For others, it came from watching porn or seeing magazines, getting exposed at an early age to something that you really didn't understand or know how to process. And that education, basically learning about sex in the streets, I believe has done us men a disservice because we have a very skewed view on what sex is. Our definition of sex is penis and vagina. That's sex. And if it's not that, then you're not having sex. And we go around as men comparing notes. Hey, how was this technique? I tried this and this worked. And we don't talk like that. It's probably a good thing, but we don't talk that way. And so a lot of this we're just trying to figure out on our own. We just come out the gate swinging. And if we're being honest with ourselves, that is not true. All right, there's a learning curve, but I would dare say that the way we are training or way we have trained our body has been all wrong. Okay. So, what do I mean by that? Well, many men watch porn and many men jerk off to porn. And really, the purpose of this is to get off, right? You're not trying to learn your body necessarily. You're not trying to last long. You're just trying to bust a nut, right? That's the end goal. And so you're training your body to receive pleasure at a very intense rate and then get the end result. So, many men, I don't know too many men, let's put it that way, who feel as though they can control their ejaculation. They feel as though they have premature ejaculation. And just for the record, just so that we understand and have some definitions, premature ejaculation is defined by ejaculating less than a minute after penetration. All right. But there's various degrees of this. And this is a part of the part of sex we don't talk about because it's embarrassing, because we don't have any tools. at our disposal. But this is something that I believe with the right training, you actually can last longer with knowing your body, knowing the muscles in your body to work on, knowing relaxation techniques, really taking away the stress and the anxiety. All of these things actually play a factor in premature ejaculation, but we don't know this because we don't talk about it. Um, and so that's a shame because this is so important to us. We should be training. We should be training the correct way, training our bodies to last longer or to master our ejaculatory control. Another Another thing that we as men, I think, miss the mark on is just the definition of sex. Again, I said, most men think penis and vagina, that is sex. Sex is so much more than that. A woman's body is not just her vagina and her clitoris, even though those are very important erogenous zones. But I don't know if it's having the intellectual curiosity to know, or if it's just that we've been conditioned due to heterocentric porn that emphasizes male pleasure and not female pleasure. But there's a whole conversation we can have on female pleasure and knowing women's anatomy. I'm just going to drop one little thing here, but this is not this type of conversation. But just fun fact, okay? Women have erectile tissue, just like you. Women have corporal bodies, okay, that fill up that you can't see that lead to the clitoris. All right. And so there's a lot to that. There's a lot to their anatomy that we need to be educated on and we need training on in order to know how to please women. That aside, the mental game is so important when it comes to sex. Um, Again, I mentioned having performance anxiety where you are afraid of failure and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. When you feel like you're not going to be successful, chances are you won't be. The brain is so powerful. I said this before that if you psych yourself out enough, even if you've taken Viagra, you can psych yourself out of a good erection. And how you have to be mentally strong and have the tools necessary to be successful. The same goes for your sex game. Mentally, we have to have the tools to be successful. We as humans, we're not just our bodies, we're not just our minds or spirit. Okay. You're composed of mind, body, and spirit. It would be foolish or malpractice to talk about sexuality without talking about spirituality. And I'm not talking about, religious God necessarily, having self awareness, being in tune with your emotions and with yourself and your integrity. Okay. That is so important. I know many men who compromise what they know to be right, what they value, their self-esteem, their boundaries, their values, because they want some tail and endure even abuse and dysfunction just to get some tail. When you start compromising yourself and your values and your boundaries and your self-respect, you start to lose yourself. I call it the Adam syndrome. All right. You guys know Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, they had it made perfect. They walked with God in the garden. That was the closest man has been to God. They had instructions. Adam knew what was right, or at least knew to follow the instructions of God. And, when Eve took of the fruit and gave it to Adam, Adam had a choice. I need to be true to God and what he said about this, or I want my wife. And he chose his wife. He chose Eve over God. And how powerful is that? That even the perfect man. Now, I'm not saying, hey, If I was in that situation, I know Eve was a bad sister. The original woman, she was bad. She was banging. Okay. I truly believe that. Beautiful. He did have a choice and he chose his woman over God. And so if he could do that, how much harder is it for us as men? And that is the only way we know how to get it is through sex. Or we think we know how to get it is through sex. Then that is that is the one tool that we have in our tool belt. I have developed this program that I think is going to change the game. All right. It is an ED, sexual health and wellness, intimacy coaching program called the Woodsmen Group. And what makes this different than other coaching programs is that we approach things from a holistic standpoint. We talk about mind, body, and soul. It doesn't make sense to get your body right, get you healthy, have your mental game together, but you're not in tune spiritually. So that is detracting from your ability to be intimate because you don't even know yourself. How can someone else know you in that situation? When it comes to sexual health, we have to approach the whole man, the total man, to be totally healthy, to be totally healed, and totally functional and performing at a high level on all cylinders. Okay. And so the Woodsman Group looks to do that. And why our results are sustainable is because we get at the root cause. Okay. We just don't give you a band-aid. We just don't say, here's a pill to fix this. No, we tell you what's wrong and we give you tools to fix it. Okay. Not to cover it up. When it comes to your mental game, how that is so important. The brain is the biggest sex organ in the body. And so it'd be derelict not to talk about, and I shouldn't say there, guys, all of us have dealt with trauma. All right. All of us. No one is immune. And when I talk about trauma, I mean sexual trauma. And no, I don't mean everyone was abused, but there were some men that were abused. They may not have called it abuse at the time because, it was an older girl. The guys were like, hey, man, you doing something, but she took advantage of you. She took your childhood, and you did things way too early. It took a toll on you, and you're still paying for it later on in life, even in your marriage relationship. Okay. So if that trauma has not been dealt with, who was abused, whose first knowledge or experience with intimacy was actually abuse, and that has skewed your whole view of sex and intimacy. And so that needs to be addressed, discuss, and get into in the group. We also talk about performance anxiety. We mentioned it before. We talk about other types of trauma. There are people where sex has been used as a tool of punishment, of withholding, and it's been weaponized, and that can also skew your view of sex and intimacy if you've come from that background. There have been some of us who've dealt with infidelity. Boy, that can be a fatal blow to a marriage, and it can be overcome, but you need tools, you need counseling, you need hopefully a good friend or a community to help get you through that journey because it's difficult, and it's not easy, and it's ugly sometimes, but you can, with the right tools, you can make it to the other side. And so that's something that we deal with. And finally, when we talk about the physical part of it, where we talk about diet, nutrition, exercise plan, meal plan, things that are going to help you fuel your body, fuel your wood, and sharpening your wood. You got to fortify it. You got to be in tune with who you are as a man, that masculine energy, that essence of you, who you are. Strip everything else away. And who are you and what do you want? What is most important to you? And a lot of us, myself included, you are successful, you're high functioning, you have achieved a lot in life, and you have grown professionally, academically, and to the outside world, you look great. You've got all these accolades, you got these letters behind your name, and that is one aspect of you. But another aspect of you is that sometimes you are not mature in your emotional development, and that is lagging behind. Is that is causing a strain in your relationship, because when shit hits the fan and you start coping with the wrong things, behaving in a dysfunctional way because you've not been given tools on how to deal with pain, how to deal with trauma. And so that leads to even more dysfunction. So it gets deep, y'all. It gets deep, but it has to be. We have to know thyself. All right. I say that a lot. Know thyself. You have to know who you are. Because if you don't know who you are, how can your spouse or your partner know who you are? Okay. And at the end of the day, we as men crave intimacy. All right. We only generally know one way to get it, but that's what we crave. We crave to be known. We crave to be loved, to be desired, to be wanted. And we use sex as a hack many times to get to that. And it's a patch. It's not the fix, but you will understand that it's much deeper than that. Okay. Sex is an act, but are your souls communicating? Okay. Are you penetrating her mind? Are you giving her mental orgasms? And so these are things that we as men, if we want to be proficient in intimacy, these are tools that we need to get. Okay. And as far as I can see, there are not reliable sources of this information or community in which you can share and be amongst other brothers. And that is to be completely healed, whole, and healthy when it comes to your sexual health and wellness, as well as your intimacy. And this group, this Woodsman Group, I'm so excited about it because this literally is going to change the game when it comes to men's coaching and men's health. I truly believe that. I can personally testify to the methods, the techniques, and I need to get my wife on here too to talk about it, because I think she would be probably a better witness to see. Because honestly, a lot of the problems that we had in our marriage, not all of them, but a lot of them stem from me, and they stem from me not being mature in ways that I need to be mature. Once I started getting myself together, change the game. Change the game. No question about it. Because what women want, they want security. They want to know that you are going to be who you are, regardless of what happens around you. All right. They want to know that they can trust you, that when they throw their stuff at you and they will test you, that if I can get him rattled, I can't trust him. If he changes who he is based on the situation, something inside says I can't trust him. But if they throw this stuff at you and you remain calm, remain who you are, and you live in your integrity and you don't compromise, they may not like it, but they respect it, and they build trust that way. Okay. So uh, I had to learn that the hard way, but I learned it. And once I started getting myself together, and here's the thing, you cannot expect anything internal to be fixed from the external. You can't. You can't rely on a woman to save you, or to make you whole. Okay. You're a whole person yourself. All right. So you are a complete person. You may be hurt, you may be broken, and need to heal, but you are a whole person to yourself. Okay. Your partner should complement you. Okay. And she should be a whole person unto herself. And you shouldn't have to need or rely on that other person for anything that you should be getting internally yourself and with God. Okay. And so these are just important lessons that we as men need to learn and need to know in order to grow and in order to be the best versions of ourselves. And man, I'm just so excited that I have not just myself, but I have a team of coaches of other men that are poised and waiting to pour into you, that are skilled at what they do in various aspects. I'll just run down the list, man. I got, man, Sean McBride. Sean McBride, this brother is a phenomenal counselor. He's a brother that can turn a situation around like nobody's business. The work of Sean. And when you talk about trauma, when you're talking about dysfunction and learning how to heal from all of that, I can't think of anybody better than him. All right. Um, we got Neil Davis, and he can come up with an exercise plan just for you to target the things that you want to do to get healthier when it comes to sex, when it comes to endurance. Um, he's your guy. All right. I have Chef Brian Lewis. He is a world traveled chef, culinary genius. Um, he can do things with food I've never seen before. I mean, his mind is just great. And so when you talk about like, what do I eat? You know, how do I eat to fuel my wood? Where do I start? All right. Come up with a meal plan designed specifically for you and your needs. If you're looking to eat for stronger erections or higher testosterone levels, he's got you. All right. I have Dr. Wesley Knight on the team, man. This brother, he literally wrote the book on sexuality and spirituality and the link between the two. If you guys have not heard him speak on this, just YouTube Dr. Wesley Knight. He has a couple of books out. I have Joey Kibble. You may know him from Take Six, but this brother is a phenomenal coach in actually helping us understand who we are and what our motivations are. And like I said, knowing thyself is so important. And so he has a very strong assessment tool that he's actually done on me, and it's helped me tremendously understanding my motivations for what I do. All right, Myron Edmonds. I forget that. Myron, brother, is phenomenal. He is an excellent coach. As you know, as some of you know, he is the leader of the men's group, The Winning Circle. And he and I have partnered up. He believes in this ministry because this is so important to men. And he is available for coaching as well. I mean, brother does it all. Okay. So he is on the team. So we have a strong team of men that are there for you, okay, that are available, that want to give you the tools that you need. So you listen, we're grown. Playtime is over. All right. This is not the time to haphazardly approach things or guess things or continue in the dysfunction or the poor performance and the anxiety and all that stuff. It's over. Okay. We can't do that anymore. All right. So let this be the year that you decide that you are going to do something about it proactively to improve your sexual health and function in your intimacy game holistically. All right. Check us out at the Woodsmen Group. All right. We'll give you the information and just take a look at it. It's a coaching program and it is designed specifically for you. It's curated to meet your goals and everything that you're trying to accomplish in this arena. And it is for 8 weeks. And it is just a phenomenal program. I am excited to bring it to you. Guys, we got to train. All right. We have to train. We want to get better at the sex game. You think you're good. Maybe you are. You can always get better. All right. And so that along with intimacy, what is intimacy? You know, we don't really know how to be intimate. We don't even tell our wives what's going on with us internally or physically. And so that has to change, guys. That has to change. And we can give you tools that you need without fear of rejection or not being heard, because guess what? You have a community of men that are hearing you, that are with you, that got your back. All right. So, hey, are you a woodsman? I don't know, but you may want to try and find out. So listen, this has been something I've been wanting to bring out for some time now. We are in the process of actually going through our first cohort. I'm excited about it. I can't wait to hear the results. and bring it to you guys. So we'll keep in touch. All right. We'll let you know how things are going, and y'all be blessed. All right. All right. Dr. Q out.